I want to talk about childhood and the defense. So, when we are a child, we are very joyful. We are very whole and very complete. Very enthusiastic. We are full of so much wonder. And yet, we're naive. When we experience the sting of life in childhood, the hurt, the pain, we create a defense. Now, a lot of us associate that defense as the ego. But the more aware we become of this defense inside of ourselves, the more we can use this defense in our advantage. Sometimes when we are hurt, when we experience pain, usually in childhood, it could be through childhood neglect, it could be through anything that makes us feel unsafe within our heart space. That defense is our way of keeping ourselves safe, keeping ourselves protected. But sometimes that defense can spin off into all kinds of fears, all kinds of phobias. So we want our defense to not be fears and phobias and doubts. We want it to be empowerment. We want it to be that voice that empowers us to be strong, to defeat our weaknesses with courage. So, a lot of times we think that it's easier to just kind of, give in to the ego. The ego says, oh yeah, that person's this, or, that person's that, and we say things impulsively, we're quite reactive and commotional. We have all these fantasies and these mental intrigues about all kinds of stuff that really just confuses us. We know when we are connecting with our soul is when all of those complications, we call them separations, where this person is that person is that, I'm in opposition, competition, is the moment when we are forgiveness, acceptance. Because at the soul level, we want humanity to be empowered. We don't want humanity to be a bunch of people fighting each other for who knows how long. Eye for an eye. It's been going on for thousands of years. On a soul level, we came here in this physical body to be the embodiment of an empowered ego. Not a shallow ego who's insecure and uses all kinds of possessions or materials to kind of cloak the fact that they really don't feel impactful with their life in their body. On a soul level, we want humanity to be liberated, and we do it through our own impact, through our own liberation with ourselves. Because we can't quite liberate anybody. Either it's our family, our friends, our community. If we do not have that surge of courage and that surge of empowerment within ourselves. So, that defense. I have my own defense, trust me. I have my own, protection, my own boundaries, and my discernment. We call it the voice of reason. And that defense, I have visualized that to be a woman wearing a tiger robe. What is that? Yeah, that's my defense. She's wearing a tiger robe. And underneath that tiger robe, she is this African American, almost Native American, older woman. Okay? And she's very wise. Very incredibly wise. So when I visualize my defense, or when I'm in an environment and I feel like uncomfortable. I feel nervous. My ego is kind of like, that person, don't give them the time of the day. That person is crud. Oh, look at that person, loser. Look at that person. Oh, they're weird. Oh, that's a freak. Oh, that person, they belong in hell. Oh, yeah, that person belongs in hell for sure. When judgment comes up, that's that ego. It's a natural defense. Okay. I imagine this woman coming forward, and I have her name. Her name's Tabris. Okay. She's a version of myself that helps me through life. And she's so incredibly wise that I don't need to be judgmental. I just simply need to be discerning. I just simply need to hold my boundaries and understand that, people, they're going to, on their journey towards their own liberation, they're going to go through much mistakes. But the moment I begin to indulge in their mistakes and the judgment that is basically, hammered on them from mistakes, is the moment that I step away from the true impact of why I came here in this physical body, which is to liberate humanity and to witness the liberation of humanity. And that doesn't come from judgment. Oh, you need to go to hell. Oh, whoa, you are fucked up. Oh my God, issues too far gone. Oh my God, that doesn't go anywhere. It just creates more of the same. And we are trying to evolve beyond that so we can actually be creative with each other. Now, with that understanding of having a defense, a defense mechanism, just like your immune system, you sense something that's not basically for you, but instead of just kind of like what we do is, you go to hell kind of thing, understand that that person is in their own sort of dimension with themselves. And that dimension may cause, chaos and sort of all these mistakes and these imbalances, malnourished imbalances. Understand that your impact to be elevated beyond you're going, the saint sinner stuff is the bridge. And they might not get it at the moment when, maybe you cross paths with, somebody you're like, oh. But your empowerment through the resonance, the true embodiment, they'll never forget that. Either in this lifetime, the next lifetime after that, you've become some sort of bridge to a potential for them to get their incarnation together. You know what I'm saying? So we are creating bridges. Like the tree. The tree reaches the sky. We can see it as the heavens, and the tree has deep roots. We can see deep in the earthbound. It's the bridge. And that's what we are to each other. But we can't be that when we're all kind of in this whirlwind of, you're weird, you need to go to hell, F you, that kind of thing. All it does is it just keeps us in that earthbound of feeling so uncared for, so unloved, feeling so hated that we don't feel worthy to actually rise and to correctively, constructively, and creatively repair ourselves. And more than ever, we're here to repair ourselves. We're here to remedy and restore, reform ourselves. And it doesn't just happen through, us just, keeping our ego real close and keeping everybody out. It's through creating a defense with yourself that's actually wise, not impulsive, reactive, cowardly, that kind of thing, but a very wise defense. Because when we have a wise defense, when we see an opportunity for us to be empowered And no matter how uncomfortable or how scary or how we want to just kind of crawl up into a ball, or we just want to yell at somebody, or we just want to be like, that kind of thing, that opportunity when we really have this awareness with our, our defense, like I say, Tabris, my own defense mechanism. I say, Tabris, I'm feeling comfortable, I'm feeling unsafe, I need you to step forward. And that is basically you being in command and being the ruler of your own defense, instead of a lot of people, they're unsafe, they latch out, they rather sting before they get stung. You know what I'm saying? You have no control in that sort of way. When you bring awareness to your defense, when you're feeling like something's off, there's a red flag, you don't need to freak out. You don't need to go create some sort of mental intrigue and spin off into all sort of fear and phobia and trauma. You just need to have that defense with you and say, Tabris, I need you to come forward, or whatever sort of defense you would like to visualize for yourself. An aspect of yourself that makes you feel so incredibly strong, so incredibly wise, because we know on this planet that it is, you know what I'm saying? It can be very, very rough. We know this, and that's why we have so much anger and we have so much rage. But that rage and that anger, when we kind of put it into our ego or defense, what do? We don't have any impact. All we are is just this kind of commotional, fiery mess of things that are just out of our hands and out of our control, and we have no sense of ground or footing with a soul residence. And that soul residence, when we have that connection, or when we just have that simplest touch of it, the access to it, it brings us a sense of leadership. You know what I'm saying? Leadership. And the more that we view our defense, our boundaries, our discernment as a sense of leadership over our lives, over our sovereignty, is the moment we have an empowered ego. An ego that very much is aware of the bozos, but not to the point where we're going to shut ourselves down, shut ourselves out, shut people out, shut ourselves closed, and miss the opportunities for us to be empowered, truly empowered.